now let's see what that resolution looks like as far as Photoshop is concerned. So the way that I got this airplane is I went to browser, and then in here I navigated to modeling, and then I went to vehicles, and then I found jet fighter. Okay, and then what I did was I dragged that into the scene, and it may have turned all black. I just pressed F as in frame, and it framed up on it. And then I opened up my UV editor so I can see this. Okay. You'll notice that this will be blank if I don't have anything selected, but as soon as I select the jet fighter, now I can see this is all there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to modify, and I'm going to go to, I'm going to go to image UV snapshot. Now on this, I'm going to hit browse, and you know what? I'm going to do this. Before I do anything, just like anything else, I'm going to make a projects folder. So I'm going to go File, Project Window, New. I'm going to call this Jet, and I'm going to place it on the desktop. Okay, good. Now, if I go to Image UV Snapshot, I can see that I'm going to hit Browse here. I want to make sure that it's saving into my Jet folder right here. And it's also going to save in images. So I'm going to call this UV map, and I'll click save. Format's going to be a JPEG, and I'll make it 4096 by 4096 right now. And that's good. I feel like so we'll start really big, and then we'll kind of work our way smaller and kind of see what happens. So maybe I'll call this, I could go up here and I'm going to call it 4096 underscore UV map. Okay, good. Now I'll hit apply. And what you want to see is it's a saved file down here. And if it gives you a red error, so if I did not have the jet selected, or if I had it selected, but if I had it in, like, let's say face mode, okay, and you can see that I have it selected in what's called component mode. And now if I try to apply, I'll say overwrite. It looks like it's saved, it's still saved it, but sometimes if you don't have it selected in the right mode, it's going to give you an error and say, hey, it's nothing is selected. So then you have to right click, go to object mode, make sure you selected in object mode, then go ahead and save it. Okay, now I could open this in Photoshop. And I'll go to my jet, images, here it is. And you can see that that's our UV map, and it's inverted. So I'm going to hit Control I to invert it back to normal. I'm also going to double click on this layer to unlock it. And now I can see that there it is. Now I'm going to create a new layer, going down here and moving this layer underneath that layer. Now I'm going to take this layer and I'm going to, well, first of all, if I go to layer 1, and if I take some paint and paint, I can't see anything. That's because this layer is covering it up, right? So I don't want to do this. I don't want to turn down my opacity, even though I'm able to see what's underneath it. Because when I do that, I'm not getting the true color, and I can't really see my grid lines very well. So here's kind of a cool trick. I'm going to go to this layer 0, which is my UV map, and I'm going to switch its blending mode here to multiply. And what multiply does is it makes the whites of that particular layer invisible, but it keeps the black, okay, which is exactly what we want. So now I can see, if I color on this layer, I can see there it is, but I'm essentially coloring underneath it, okay, which is exactly what I want. So I'm just going to go ahead and erase this and make something kind of worthwhile. Now, if we look at this, I got to kind of think about maybe I want a decal or something on the wing. So I'm going to go back to Maya here, and I'm going to look at the wing. Okay, So if I go to UV shell, I can say that, okay, this is the top UV shell. And if I want to do something underneath the wing, I'd have to look at these. Okay, so this is the top UV shell. So maybe I want to kind of put like a graphic of a star or something right here. So what I might do is go back to Photoshop, and on this layer, I'm going to go to Polygon tool, and then up here I'm going to put the sides to 5, and then if I drag, you can see it creates a nice star. Okay, I think on this star I'm going to have it, let's see, I'll have it yellow. So I selected the color and then the saturation here, usually up to the top right hand corner. And now once again, polygon, star, I can click and then I can go like that. Okay, awesome. That looks good. And maybe if I undo, I could stroke it. So this is the fill color and this is the stroke color. So maybe I want it outlined in, let's say blue. Okay. Now what I could do is I could draw it like this. Hey, there we go. That looks cool. And maybe I'll put one star here, and I'll duplicate that star and put it on the other side as well. And I could hit Control T as in Tom and rotate that and double click on it. Go back to this one, Control T as in Tom, rotate it. There we go. And I'm going to keep this layer on the top. Okay, so that's our UV map, and I will always want to keep that on the topmost layer. Now, maybe I want to put some red stripes on this or something. So what I could do is maybe make a new layer underneath this, and maybe go something like this. And notice that I went outside of the UV, okay, outside of the wing there. That's okay. I feel like I can go off of that. That's not a problem. If it goes off of the edge, we're not even going to see it. It's not really going to make a difference. So maybe I'll fill that in and obviously have that underneath the star. There we go. And now I could duplicate that layer by just dragging it down here. And then go over to my move. And then hold down Shift and then drag it over here. Hey, there we go. That's looking good. And now let's see what this is looking like in Maya. So to do that, I'm just going to go File, Save As, and you can see that it's going to save in the jet, but I want to make sure that I'm saving it in the source images. And I'm going to call this color_01_practice. And I'm going to have it as a JPEG. Click Save. Okay, cool. Now I've got my start to my color map started, and in the next lesson I'm going to go ahead and apply that to our 3D objects and see how we did.